Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing you another in our 12 days of layouts. This is one of our last, I think it actually is the last one that we're using polar lights for, and we've done several layouts now using this collection. Which has been really fun. So if you've been making those layouts with me, I'm sure you have several bits and bobs, lots of scraps left over from this collection. And one of the pages that we have not used is this one. This every now and then Creative Memories will come out with a collection, and they will include what is essentially a border page. This is designed so you can cut these strips and make borders with each of these strips, and it with very little embellishment, and it would be super cute, make a super cute border. So I thought it would be fun to just take portions of this page, not all of it, because I'm not going to use this part that has the skiers. I'm not going to use this part down here that has the whales and walruses and penguins and things like that. But we can use other portions of this to create a special border that I think would be really fun to use up some of our other scraps. So at any rate, let me get right to it and show you kind of what I've got on my table. So this is the sketch that I'm using for inspiration for this layout. I'm going to use this single page sketch and turn it into a double page sketch, which isn't really too hard. You just mirror the one page and flip it so that you have two borders going down each side, and the photos in the center. So that's really not too hard. The tricky part today is going to be creating this border right here, which is basically made by creating two border strips and then cutting them. So let me show you how we're going to do that. So collect your scraps, your strips that you have left over. I've even got a portion here of my polar bear punch that I still had available, and thought maybe we might be able to figure out a fun way to add in a couple of those guys to our borders. So I've got a couple of pieces of light blue cardstock. Those are going to be our bases, and so I'm going to move those off over here just real quick. I've also got a piece of our deep sea green, and a piece of, and again, this is that color, guys, I can't seem to remember, and I'm sure I'll remember it after I do my Hawaii album, because that's what I bought this mainly for, but Island Waters. I don't know why I can't remember. That's Island Waters. Anyway, so I'm going to use the deep sea green for our mats for our photos, and then the Island Waters is actually going to be the base for our strips that we're making for this border that's going to go on the edge. So I'm going to keep this page out and just set, actually I'm going to grab my trimmer real quick. Let's just make these, cut these mats quickly. So I'm just going to even out my edge because I still had a decorative edge on the side of that one. And I'm going to cut this at 4 and then just cut it in half. And of course, I did that too quickly and I didn't have equal pressure, so I didn't cut it. There we go. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this so we have our mats ready to go on this, for this layout page. I need 2 more though, actually. because we're going to do a 2-page spread. And you actually could add more than just 2 photos on each page if you wanted to. The sketch here only shows 2 photos, but if you cut some smaller, you could definitely work them in to this layout. So don't think that you're limited to just 2 pictures just because the sketch set only shows 2 pictures. All right, so our mats are ready. Now we need to create these 2 strips. So what I'm going to suggest to you that you do is take your cardstock that's going to be your base, and we're going to cut 2 strips that are 2 inches wide. So there's 1, and here's 2 for each side. So we need 2 strips that are 2 inches wide for each side. So a total of 4 inches. But you'll see why we need the 2-inch strips in just a second. All right. So I've got my 4 2-inch strips. Keep your trimmer handy because you're going to be using it a lot today, unless you have a lot of appropriately cut scraps. So you're going to create two strips of each kind. We're going to create the easy ones first, or the quick ones first. So I'm just going to put those 2 pieces up there. I'm going to grab this piece. This is a piece that was cut off of this border sheet. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut it in half. This piece is 1 inch wide. See that? 1 inch. There we go. So I'm going to cut it in half. So I'm going to put a little bit of repositionable adhesive on the back because it's narrow. And I'm going to take it and place it on my trimmer. Because it has repositionable adhesive on it, I can rub that adhesive right off as soon as I'm done, and it will help stabilize my paper and keep it from shifting when I'm trying to cut it. Okay, so I want 2 1/2-inch pieces. So I just went ahead and put that piece right in between my 2 grafts, these 2 lined grafts that are on your trimmer. I went ahead and just lined this 1-inch piece between those 2 grafts, and that gives me 2 1/2-inch pieces. Okay? So 2 1/2-inch pieces. I'm going to take the other, I have another strip just like that I have trimmed. Here it is. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So just a little bit of repositionable adhesive. Gonna line this up right between those graph lines. Just like that. Cut it right in half. Okay, so now I have 4 pieces of that. Now I need 4 more pieces of something that's going to be 12 inches long and complementary to that. So we could use this piece. We could use this piece. Let's do this piece. So I'm going to just cut 4 1/2-inch pieces from this piece. I can use either this piece that you can see on top, or I can use the flip side of this paper. Since it's from the same collection, we know it's all going to match, so everything's good there. And the other side has that cute polka dot, which is fun. So each of these cardstock pieces needs 4 1/2-inch strips. They can be the same, they can be different. It's completely up to you. For my purposes, 2 of mine are going to be the same and 2 of mine are going to be different. So I'm going to save these for our other border that we're going to put together. I'm going to take these 2 and these 2 and just separate those so that I don't get mixed up in my own brain. Alright, so I'm going to add some more repositionable adhesive to the back of this. It already has a little bit since this was the one that I cut in half. I'm just going to place this right along the edge of my cardstock. Just like that. Okay? Then I'm going to take my next piece. We'll do the polka dots. And I'm going to add adhesive. And I'm going to place this up right next to the piece I just put on. No gaps, right next to it. There we go. Then I'm going to take this piece, actually, so I think I'm going to use the piece I cut in half as kind of a bookend effect, instead of putting it in the middle like I was doing like every other one. I think I'm going to put it on the outer edges. Like that. And then this one goes here. Now it looks like at some point, something that I cut was not exactly straight, so I am going to see just a little bit of my base page, which is what it is. So now I'm going to put together this one. Around because I find it easier to apply my papers this way. It's been so fun working with this Polar Ice or Polar Lights paper pack. I love the colors. And the combinations have been so fun. Okay. Oh, I don't know what I'm thinking. There we go. Okay, there. So we've got those two. Now we're going to do these two. And these two are going to be a little bit different in that we are going to take pieces that are, so you can do this a couple different ways. You can either do them in 1/4 inch pieces, or you can do them in 1/2 inch pieces. You probably, if you were really good at math, you could do them in, you know, a 3/4 inch piece with a 1/4 inch piece with a 1/2, with, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I am just, quite honestly, not that good at my math skills. So, unfortunately, I cannot do that. But what I am planning to do is just go ahead and cut these into 1/4 inch wide, or we can do 1/2 inch wide. It looks to me like they're in 1/4 inch wide pieces. These were 1/2 inch pieces. These, I believe, are 1/4 inch pieces. So I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this piece and go ahead and cut it into a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch just seems so tiny, though. I don't know if I really want to deal with that. Maybe we'll cut it in a 1/2 inch. And I'll just do a few less, because oh my gosh, I just can't imagine gluing all the 1/4 inch pieces. When you see what we're gonna do, there's a lot more to adhere if we have 1/4 inch pieces. So I think we're gonna just pretend like we don't need 1/4 inch. How's that? How's them apples? Okay, so here I've got another 1 inch strip, cutting it in half. I've got, this one is not 1 inch, this one is like 3/4. I've got this one I can cut into a 1/2 inch. I've got this one I can cut into a 1/2 inch. And we can do this one twice because we've got also the pattern on the back we can use. And I've got all of these other pieces over here, which would be cute and are not full-size pieces. So, but that's okay because they only really need to be 2 inches long. So I can cut this into a couple of pieces and then we'll be good. Oh look, we've got 3 pieces of that one. That's awesome. Okay, this one we already have represented, so I think I'm going to try to avoid that one for now. This one I already have. I'm going to cut a couple extra pieces of it. Okay, I think we have enough that we can get started. And then if we need more, we can always trim up a few more from our extra pieces. Okay, so setting that aside, but not too far, because we may need it again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and place some adhesive on the back of my strips. I'm going to place these the same way that I placed the strips the last time, but each time that I put one down, I've got to trim it so that I can continue using my strip. Does that make sense? So, and I'm going to try to make these the same. So I'm going to do 2 with one paper and then move on to the next paper, and then we'll repeat some kind of a pattern maybe. We'll see. So we've got that one. We've got this one. Just putting it right up, right next to the one before it. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Let's put some rocks. If you have ends stick up, like I've got this one sticking up right here, just go back and add a little bit of repositionable adhesive. Get that stuck down. You definitely don't want to have pieces sticking up with this layout. So if you notice that they are sticking up, now would be a great time to run back in there and stick them down. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need an 8th one on here. Let's see. What have we got? Oh, we haven't done this one. So let's do this one. Oh, I am so glad that we did 1/2 inch and not 1/4 inch, because I think I was insane thinking it was 1/4 inch. I'm reasonably certain now that we are right, that it is 1/2 inch. Okay, I already have adhesive on this one, so let's just start our pattern over, shall we? All right, now what we need to do is cut these into lengths. So just gonna kind of scooch that over. So all of 4 of these we now need to cut into 4-inch lengths. All right, so we're going to start here. Cut this one in 4, and this one at 4. And if you have, again, I'm noticing I have some pieces that are sticking up. So I'm going to go back through and make sure I have all my ends adhered, because you definitely don't want to have to be worrying about those with this layout. Okay, so there are those. This one I'm going to cut at 4 inches. Let me turn this around because I think there we go, 4 inches. And 4 inches. This one again, 4 inches. Is that not looking right from that end? There we go. That's right. 4 inches and 4 inches. All right. So strange. Okay. Now we need our base sheets. Base sheets. Okay. So let's just start with one base sheet for the time being. And I'm going to uncover our border. So I'm just going to, making sure all my pieces are stuck down, which on these, on my, the 2-inch borders where everything was vertical, I'm pretty reasonably sure that everything is stuck down. These, though, I think may have an issue. No, they're okay. That one is anyway. Okay. I'll come back later. Hang on one second. Okay. Sorry about that. My son was doing me a favor and needed some additional info. There I am. I need to secure these down anyway, so give me a second here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so then this one goes here. So you just alternate your vertical and your horizontal pieces. And try not to put like the same end next to the same end. Hopefully that makes sense. Just checking this one. Make sure I'm not sticking up. These are a little bit. There we go. Oh, I need another one of these first. And I already got my one that's variable up there, so just making sure not to repeat. guess I should probably turn that around so it's the same as the one up on top. And that's odd, this one is long. Huh. Well, I'll have to trim that off. All right. So we're going to do the same thing on the other page. So we've got that one. I'm going to grab another base page and we're going to do this down the opposite side. So I'm going to grab a vertical one. And you can change up the one on this side if you want to. I just flipped it over just for kicks and giggles, as they say. Okay, 1 second. My phone is going off. Somebody must have bought my phone number. Do you have that issue? I hate that. Really, I do. Okay, let's see. I need to trim off just a tiny bit. That's going to bug me if I leave it. There we go. Oh, I don't know why. Hold on a second. That is not accurate, and it's off by just the amount that the cardstock is showing at the top. So let's just trim the cardstock, shall we? There we go. That's much better.
Okay, they've been delivered.
All right. So funny. Teenagers are just so funny. All right. We are just about done with this, and this second one I'm kind of a little bit less pleased with. My borders didn't quite line up and it is a little bit off, and that's gonna bug me, but you know, I suppose in the long run it'll be okay. All right, so then we have just some mats that are going to go on right here in the center. And like I said, you can add more photos if you want to. If you wanted to, you could move these all the way to the top edge and add 2 more, and then you would have 6 pictures on your layout, which would be fine too. We've got that. I've got my little bears that I was going to play around with, and I have this cute little igloo and Frosty FUN, and then some other round embellishments from the collection that I was planning to play with. So I thought I would just put one kind of here and one kind of here, and then I could use maybe the igloo would be better down here. Of course, it's going to be kind of hard to see because it's blending in. So I wonder what I could do to help it not blend in quite so much. Maybe if I put it a little bit over the edge of that. Over the edge of that. I'm just trimming off a couple of my bears. And I can use those. Almost like that's a Aurora Borealis or something along that line. Don't worry, I'm aware that that's not a thing. I can have my bears just hanging out down here at the bottom. We'll put a couple on the other side too. How's that? I think maybe the embellishments could use some work. But we could jazz this page up just a little bit more by maybe putting our pictures on a little bit jaunty angle, like so. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, but I feel like this needs something around it to kind of set it off. Maybe a white circle would be good. Okay, so I'm going to do some additions to this before I take a picture, but for right now, I think you get the picture. You get the picture, and you'll be able to see the changes that I make. I'm just going to mat these circles so that they are set apart a little bit more from our margin, from our border, and pop these up with foam squares, and then we'll be all good to go for some Frosty fun. All right. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope that this has inspired you and taught you something new. And I hope you'll use this type of border in your album. It would be perfect to use for just about anything, not just using it with polar lights, although I really do like it with polar lights. It's really, really cute. Anyway, thanks so much for being here, and there will be more in our 12 days for 12 layouts for Christmas. So I hope you'll keep tuning in and watching for new videos. Thanks so much. And until then, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.